Thank you.
Yes, my name's Dan Altepeter, and I still am a farmer. My family farm was about 5,000 acres there in the northern Red River Valley, Grand Forks, East Grand Forks, and we raised crops like corn, wheat, soybeans. We raised sunflowers, field peas, dry edible beans, crops like that.
And like she said, I do custom seeding and I do farm. My farm mostly consists of small grains and soybeans because I used to raise corn, sugar beets and stuff, but interfered with my custom business. But we custom seed anything that will go through air drills. We run hoe drills, disc drills, plant sunflowers, wheat, millet, everything, cover crops. So if you can put it through a drill, we've done it. Which leads us to where we are today.
That's right. And what we wanted to talk about today, I guess, why we're here is we want the air seeder to be not the less desirable method of planting sunflowers. So we've been working a lot on the metering of sunflowers, doing it in a way where we're not doing seed damage, but yet we also want to have not a pulsation of the product flowing through the meter, is important. A lot of people say that sunflowers really should be planted with a row crop planter, and yes, they do a good job. But we also have a lot of people have that air seeder sitting there, and if we can use it, more the better. So that's kind of what we're doing is, we're making improvements to the metering system especially on the John Deere air seeder, so that we can do a better job of planting sunflowers with that air seeder.
And where we start with that is with our continuate rollers. As you see on the slide, we have many colors. One color to match everyone John Deere OEM has, plus a white one of our own. But the three up there would be the ones that we've been testing with sunflowers. We use the black. The rates kind of determine on what kind of transmission or drive system you have on your cart. I personally use aftermarket hydraulic drives, so I can spin my meters really, really slow. So I use a coarser meter like a black, and as ours are continue rate, they have a slight twist to them. So the seed isn't pausing, it's continually flowing out of the meter, and you get better singulation that way, like in soybeans or sunflowers, any of those seeds, you really notice it. And it just works very well for that.
Yeah, the original meter design, imagine it had a straight cut flute, on the yellow and green one, the Flexicoils, those, all the different brands, the straight cut flute, and what we would see happening a lot of times is it had a chop. It came out in a pulse. So that twisted design is something that really helps with that. It's called the continue rate because it's constantly dropping product, and that was one of the things that we used to see is groups of threes and then then a large gap. So that was what we were after with that twisted design. That's something we came out with a few years ago. Now we're coming with things more like inside the meter roller. There's an insert that is used. And really, this is the cutaway of a John Deere. And what we're looking at there is the picture on the right side is what's available, or what we've been using, which is a yellow or a black, but a yellow, the cartridge plus the yellow insert. If you notice, there's two ridges, and what we find happening is the seeds, as they're going through that meter, they start to roll, and that's what happens then is we get a lot of tips breaking off. And so that was one thing we wanted to note. We wanted to change. If you notice, the one that on the left side there has a very smooth insert in its place, and what that does is we're trying to keep any rolling inside that meter, just to a minimum, so that less chances of breaking the tips off. And we've taken, in our testing, we've taken 6 or 7% seed damage down to 1% by using that.
I know this is mostly sunflowers, but where this insert, the white in that left meter, was designed originally was for canola, and to help truly meter canola and stop siphoning out of the tank. We will get some siphoning with the sunflowers with the yellow, but if you switch to what's going to be gray, what's in the photograph it's white, but production will be gray. That'll stop the siphoning. So when your fan's running, there's actually a vacuum underneath the meter, and the seeds will get sucked out, and that insert eliminates that from happening.
Yeah, and so really, we're just trying to make the air seeder become more of a desirable method of seeding. Like Craig and I say, we want to be able to run. We want to be able to plant anything with our air drill because we have them, and so that's kind of what we're doing. Now we've also taken, going back to the rollers there a little bit. Craig's mentioned, hydraulic drive. Hydraulic drive is something that we can run our rollers, very slow. Because of this continue rate, the twisted roll design, we can run that, really, really slow RPM, and it doesn't have we don't see the pulse. So what we kind of lean more towards then is running a coarser roller, like the black. I know a lot of people in the John Deere, they run the yellow, but if we can, if we can run that slow RPM, we like to run the black, and that just gives, because of the size of the seed, it fits better there, and so that's kind of what we're what we would prefer, but we realize not everyone has a hydraulic drive.
With the hydraulic drive, we're turning our meters like at 1.5 RPM, which you cannot do with a ground drive transmission. So we're getting really, really slow rates out of them, and it's nice and steady, and just work really good for this application.
Okay, so kind of what we've put down here is some of our recommendations is, okay, let's see here. We were, a lot of the testing that we were doing was using, size 4 primarily, but we've ran, a lot of different sizes through our rollers, but we tend to recommend, upping our population maybe from, let's see here, am I on the right page here, Craig, that shows that? Oh, here we go. I guess we'll go back to that other one. Yeah, so we're upping our pop just a little bit with the planter. If that's kind of what we tell guys. We are more of the solid seeded type, especially with that roller. Trying to get the best, head size. Having it as equal as possible, but still yet. So we try and do everything in solid seeded if we can. At least in our areas.
That's what with my single disc grill, we can do 7.5 or 15. Customers have a choice, and every one that we seed sunflowers on takes me up on the 7.5 inch spacing. We're using 15 on the canola and 7.5 on the soybeans, on the sunflowers. And I ask them why, and they want early canopy for weed control. We're all conventional tillage in the Red River Valley, so they just want an early canopy. And they feel like we're getting that with the 7.5 inch spacing.
And 10. But that's kind of what we, what we have here as, this has been some feedback from some of our customers, and this is also kind of the way that, we prefer. So that's, we wrote down there, but yeah, it's the early, crop canopy, or getting that as soon as we can.
You want to go back to that?
Yeah, why don't we?
So last year, I was out of the office for this, but New Seed came and they had some pelleted size 5 seed that was built up, and we ran it through our test meter, which is over there, to determine seed breakage and stuff. And right now in that meter, we have 6 different combinations of rollers. 2 of them are the factory, and then the other ones are combinations of our products. We're running our breakout session, but when New Seed was at the shop last winter, we did have one combination that they actually approved to be used with this built-up seed, if I remember right. Jed was there helping us with that, I guess.
Yeah, that was what we found was, there was the instance where we took, we were running a factory John Deere setup, and we took the seed tip breakage from 7%. Okay, right here, 3 to 5%, and we took it down to or less than 1%. So we were real, that was, we were happy with that.
That's all I got.
Yeah, I guess that kind of covers what we wanted to talk about here. And I guess we'll, we'd like everyone to, ask questions and visit with us at our breakout session.
And for the breakout, we do have, so you can put your hands on, we have examples of all our meters. And like I said, we have factory. If you do plant sunflowers with the John Deere air drill, we would have, in our stand over there, we have factory meter. We have a black roller with a yellow insert. We have a yellow roller with a yellow insert, and then we have some of our continue rate rollers with sunflower inserts that we can run with size 4 and 3 seed, so you can see what the performance would be coming out of the meter.
Are there any questions? So for those guys who don't have the hydraulic drive, and they're using the yellow or the white, what kind of RPM are you running on that?
Okay, so
Typically out of a ground drive transmission on a 1910 cart, it's going to get very frustrated at anything under 10 RPM. So then you're going to have to use tuning rings, which I despise tuning rings with a passion. So that's where you're going to probably be, is in that 10 RPM range to keep your monitor happy. Would
Changes when they go from the standard John Deere part to the...
Well, with the continue rate, it would still be, you would still run the same.
the capacity is the same.
Our capacity, yeah, and the roller is the same. All we did is they have a slight twist, so they're not pausing and dumping and pausing. They're continually dumping seed out nice and even.
We do have our white roller. We'll talk about that at a breakout session. But that is half of the capacity of John Deere's their low rate. We call that it's a very low rate, but that is something for the like a number 4 that would be fine. But if we get into larger seed than that, we'd probably stay away from that.
The white is more of a canola, millet, radishes, clover, the small seeds. And I mean, we can plant 2.5 pounds of canola if you want with that thing.
We get the error code stating that our transmission is running too slow is what comes up. Okay. Well, if no one else has any questions for us right now, or if you think of anything, just ask us at our booth there. Thanks, Allison.
Perfect. Thank you, guys.